I spent quite a bit of money on education and professional development in the past year, specifically online courses, masterminds, memberships, private coaching, and mini products. So let's break down the $37,000 we spent in the past year and talk about it in detail in this video. I thought it'd be fun to share some data. I know, data, riveting. Some specifics, and most importantly, lessons learned, biggest regrets, and the good and the weird to investing in professional development. Hey, my name is Dea, freelancer, digital business manager, and most recently entrepreneur. And as always, you can find sections on the play bar below if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Your time is precious, so take what you need. And if you want to watch this on 2x, I will not be offended in the least. Okay, let's dive into the video. Okay, let me just start out with saying I feel so lucky that I get to prioritize professional development now, because there was a time when I could not afford to prioritize it. Like, I remember a time when I was like, $500 for a course? No way. I could not understand people that spent thousands on coaching at all. I was like, what? Who can afford that? I can probably learn it by doing a lot of Googling maybe. And when I couldn't afford professional development, that's really what I had to do. I just had to Google every single thing I didn't know. When I couldn't afford to invest money, all I could do was invest my time into learning new things, new strategies, new tips, which got me far, but it just took me a really long time because I had to do a lot of like DIYing of resources essentially, where I had to like piece together different things that I found online. So now I so appreciate that we are able to pay for structured training by incredible experts. So that's just my little disclaimer. One of my biggest pieces of advice for anyone who is looking to, make more money online, grow bigger, gain credibility, become indispensable as a freelancer, all of that, my best advice is to prioritize professional development however you are able to, whether that's through time, like even you sitting there watching this YouTube video is prioritizing your learning, or through investing money, like no matter how much that is to get started. You can even just spend like a couple, like $10, $20, $30. And if you're able to invest in bigger and bigger skills training, then definitely do that. You are the biggest asset in your business. So investing in the learning and growth of your biggest asset is how you grow faster than everyone else out there. It's how you learn how to do higher level work. It's how you find and try new strategies. It's how you scale your income and you're able to charge more because you're more in demand. So bravo to you for being here. I made a Notion table. I didn't intend to. It just sort of happened. But here's the breakdown of the type of education we invested in with a pie chart and everything. So courses were 10% of the total expenses in the past year. Events were 1%. Coaching was about 17% of expenses. Memberships were 5%. Mini products 2%. And a mastermind was 64% of our budget and expense. So this 1-year mastermind that I invested in was definitely the bulk of the expenses. It was also the most high touch of the support I invested in. It included, Voxer access, 2 live events a year, weekly group calls, a full community of other business owners, access to other coaches. And I'll talk about this in one of my biggest lessons learned in a bit. But I think the format of education that you are purchasing or investing in is super important to, keep in mind, because a DIY course is completely different to coaching. So really take some time to think about what format of learning you need to take action, because at the end of the day, that is what will really get you the results you want through investing in something, is whatever actually gets you to do the thing, right? Take the action you need to get the result that you want. So for me, here's kind of what I decide what to buy. So I buy courses when I know I just need like the technical step-by-step strategy, how-to of some sort of new skill set or career path or tactic, for example. So for example, I bought this course in the past year called Automated Intimacy. It was awesome because it showed me the nitty-gritty of actually how to go into ActiveCampaign and set up specific automations that I wanted to set up with screen shared videos. So it walked me through it all from beginning to end. I could rewatch it as many times as I wanted or needed, and I could go through it at my own pace to set up the things that I wanted to in ActiveCampaign. So that was a really great way to learn for the result that I wanted, which was this like step-by-step process. I buy coaching when I really need accountability to get something done and when I need more personalized help, like customized to me, where someone can dive deeper with me into the context of my business. I buy masterminds and memberships when I'm looking for a community to network properly with and learn from others. I buy events when I'm looking for an inspiration or like source of energy, a surge of energy. Like events, even virtual events, get me super hyped up because there is so much input coming in for me to try out ideas for my business. Events are not good if you're currently feeling overwhelmed in your business. You should not attend events because you will leave feeling even more overwhelmed and not at all focused because you just like took too much input in basically. And finally, I buy mini products like copywriting templates when I just need to get something done ASAP, like sales emails or something. I can just grab the template, edit it, and then I can basically be ready to go. All right, here's the full list on what topics we were trying to learn this year. First up, sales funnels, digital marketing, email marketing, copywriting, advertising, PR, and YouTube. Those were kind of our different, and also finance and investing. We bought one course in that. So like overall, I love digital marketing. In general, I'm always looking for next strategies, upcoming changes in different platforms. So this year in business, we've been very focused on that. And more specifically, we've been focused on email marketing, ads, YouTube, and PR. So that's been our topic specific focuses. And we bought our first course about investing this year called Future Fund, which was super interesting for us to begin exploring because I've never purchased a course about investing before. So it's kind of nice to like dive into a completely different subject that I haven't really broached before. So let me just start out by saying I'm super happy with almost everything I purchased this year. Am I happy with my level of implementation? No. I'll talk about that in the next sections, but I am happy with the quality of content I bought for most things. And I'm very picky about my investments and I do a ton of research. So I kind of give credit to that pickiness for why I only buy things that are really good. So I just wanted to say everything in my table is great. But I wanted to give a special shout out to the 3 things I paid for this year that really exceeded my expectations and share why I think they exceeded my expectations. This whole video is not sponsored. If I can find affiliate links for some of these things, I'll put them below, but you don't have to use them. If you don't want to, you can just like Google for them and you'll find them. So here are the 3 things that really, exceeded my expectations. First up is really thoughtful coaching. So what I bought were some short private coaching sessions from Regina Anejano. This exceeded my expectations because of how incredibly thoughtful the entire process was. Regina wasn't just trying to give me like a quick solution and move on to the next person. She really listened, really took the time to understand the full context of my business and work with me on solutions that worked for my business model and also me personally as a business owner, because every business owner has different priorities, different values. So that's really important to me that somebody does not just take into the context of like, what's going to make you the most money really fast, but also like, who is Dea and like, what type of work does she like to do? Does she like to do calls? Does she like to create courses? Does she like to teach? Does she, like stuff like that. So I was very impressed. It really inspired me. It is the kind of coach that I also want to be, the kind that leaves you feeling, heard and like, someone's trying to understand the whole picture before presenting solutions. So big shout out to her. Second up is highly actionable and specific training. This is like, I got quite a bit of this year. Like I'm a very specific person. That's just some context. Like I hate vagueness. It's a huge pet peeve of mine. I hate lack of clarity. I like step 1, do this, step 2, do that. So I'm always on the hunt for others who are specific, detail-oriented, and those of them, I believe, create the most awesome trainings. These people are people that went above and beyond, careful walkthroughs, examples, proper explanations. There are a few contenders in this category. So first up is this course, Automated Intimacy, and really every other thing that I got from Ryan and Phil, super specific, very detail-oriented. If you're interested in copy, in funnels and building sales funnels in a way that feels good to you, in a way that serves your customer properly, awesome stuff. Next up, Everything by Julie Stoyan and Kathy Olson, super specific, super actionable. FG Society was super detailed, great if you're wanting to look into building funnels, copy, graphics, strategy, the whole trifecta. The third thing that really exceeded my expectations this year were incredible, wholesome communities. So these are communities where people are giving more than they're taking, which is a very rare thing, or can be a very rare thing, where people are genuinely trying to help each other get ahead and are completely open, transparent, willing to share details and the nitty-gritty of how they're doing things instead of like keeping everything a secret, That's really the only type of community I like, is where everybody's giving. So I'm giving a big shout out to the Trends community, amazing, Digital Insiders by Julie Stoyan, and the Wandering Aimfully community. So these are some really fantastic communities of all the communities I've ever been in. All right, so now let's move on to the biggest regrets I have from purchase trainings this past year. There are 3 major regrets that I thought of when I was, writing out the script for this video. So regret 1 is buying something that was not the right fit for the format of what I actually needed. Sometimes what we think we need or want is not what we actually need or want. So as an example, I realized I was joining a lot of formats of education that weren't ideal for what I secretly needed. I thought I needed strategy help, but I really didn't. Like, I knew the strategy side from my experience. What I was secretly after that I didn't even tell myself I was after was validation. Validation that I was on the right path. So a DIY course is not ideal if you're after validation. A course is great for technical know-how and strategy, but if you need validation, you need some component of feedback, either through an accompanying community or a coach or a mastermind of some kind. So before investing, ask yourself what type of education you're really looking for. Accountability, validation, strategy, step-by-step. What format are you really after? Secretly. My second regret is buying 2 things this year without going through my very professional, very advanced pre-purchase due diligence checklist. What is your due diligence checklist, Dea? Well, if you insist, I will share. My due diligence process is normally, first, I read through the enrollment page super carefully to see what exactly I will get. I'm that person that reads like every single FAQ on the sales page and the small text at the bottom of the page. Like, I just want to know everything there is to know about this thing that I might purchase. I look up the reviews and testimonials and make sure they're credible ones. Like, are these real people or stock images? I look up the instructor. I look up their credibility. Like, have they done what I want to do? Are they the right person to teach me this new skill? I also look up, is there a refund policy? What are the terms of the refund policy? Is it a fussy refund policy where I have to like jump through a bunch of hoops? I also double check in communities that I'm in and I trust, or with people I trust, if they have joined it, what they thought, did they like it, that kind of stuff. And I also ask myself, would I purchase this even if there was no element of urgency or scarcity right now? Because sometimes you get swept up in like FOMO and like timers and limited bonuses. So you really want to be sure that you're buying it even if those things don't exist. So I'm very thorough. Like, this is my checklist. I'm giving it to you. Please feel free to use it. And I actually refunded this one course in the past year. I almost never refund things, but I did ask for a refund for this course because I gave it my all and it just didn't work. And I really gave it my all. Like, I spent tons of time putting work into this framework that they taught and implemented everything, followed all the instructions. And it was only after I got the refund that I realized I really, really like this person I was buying from, and I still like this person. And so I didn't do my full due diligence checklist. So that was a big regret. Do the due diligence checklist. That's a hard sentence to say. The third regret is kind of similar to the second, and it is buying something even when I lacked the clarity and crystal clear expectations of what I was actually going to get from the investment. This is weird for me because, like I said, I'm a very specific person. So when I read vague things, that's normally a red flag for me that I probably shouldn't invest in it, because if they're vague on the enrollment page, they're probably not going to be super detail oriented in the program itself. But I got swept up in one other thing this year where, again, I really trusted the person and I ignored the flags of not setting clear expectations about what I could expect. And I didn't see a clear like statement of work of what's included in this thing that I was buying. And I bought training from this person that I really admired, and I still do admire, and they didn't give me a clear description of what I was going to get. And so I was very, very underwhelmed. And the worst part was I couldn't really complain because we hadn't set any expectations in writing, you know? And I couldn't say, well, you said in the call it was going to be like this, and it wasn't. So, you know, this is a lesson to be super clear and ask as many questions as you have before you buy anything, before you invest. Ask questions like down to the frequency of calls, down to structure of calls, down to communication expectations, to what can be submitted for feedback and auditing. Every single small question you have should be answered by someone, and they should take the time to answer them before you invest in something, especially if it's a larger purchase. All right, so here are the 3 big lessons learned from spending $37,000 in professional development in the past year. I'm laughing because $37,000 to me is like shocking to me every time I say it. I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. It's just a crazy amount of money that I never thought I would be able to spend on professional development with my business. So the first one is, and I realized halfway through the year that I was getting like serious dopamine hits from spending money on education and training, which is so nerdy. It's like, yay, I get to learn something new. And it's a problem because that dopamine hit fades and you need your next thing, right? Like becomes like your next fix. Like, what's my next course? So you need to really come up with a system and implement some sort of like checks and balances and like boundaries for yourself. So like cap how many things you can have open-ended at a time before you buy the next thing, right? How many trainings, programs, events, masterminds can you have in progress at one time? I would say, and I implemented this for myself, is like cap it to 2 to 3 things. And until one of those things are completed, you're not allowed to buy something new. I've done that to myself now. I had to, and I would recommend that to you too. Second lesson is understanding the optimal cycle of education for you. For me, it used to be like step 1, buy. Step 2, consume. That's it, right? That was the end of my cycle. Sometimes I wouldn't even get to step 2, but that is not optimal at all. So now my cycle is trying to get to step 1, buy. Step 2, consume. Step 3, take notes. Step 4, summarize action steps. Step 5, implement the action steps, key step. And then step 6, review the results of that investment regularly. That is how you ensure you're getting your money back. So I ask you, what does your current buying cycle look like and how could you optimize it? And the final lesson is to start with the end in mind. If you are on the hunt for training, what exactly are you looking for? What would be the ideal end result this training gets you? What is standing in your way currently and preventing you from getting to the end result? List all of it out. And most importantly, what needs to happen to help you through those hurdles and ensure that those results that you want actually happen? Because you may find that when you ask yourself, what is holding me back from XYZ? Insert here. That you don't even really need strategy help. You just need someone else to tell you that you're doing a great job and to keep going. Like that's what I needed. And I kept buying strategy help. And I was like, this is not actually what I need. I need somebody to be like, Dea, you're on the right path. Just keep going. Like I needed that encouragement and that validation. I was on the right path. So don't just say, I'm looking for help with insert here. Get specific. Like what do you need in terms of format ideally? What will make sure you implement your learnings properly? Do you need the strategy plus accountability plus mindset help along the way? Really think through what is holding you back and what will get you to the end result you're after. Okay, so that is the full breakdown. I hope that was interesting. I wrote it like with a question mark in my notes because I've never seen a video like this, but I know I'm super interested. Maybe it's just because I'm nosy in what other people are buying and their thoughts about all of it. So what are some courses or trainings you've invested in this year? Let me know below what they are, if you like them, so I can check them out. You can let me know like your favorite training that you purchased in the past year because I super want to know. And I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.